Welcome back. The issue of isolation in Canadian prisons is being debated again, especially when it comes to female inmates and long-term segregation. The British Columbia Civil Liberties Association launched a civil lawsuit Monday saying that laws that allow federal prisons to keep inmates in isolation for an extended period of time is both wrong and unconstitutional. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of 24-year-old Bobby Lee Worm from Saskatchewan, who was sentenced for robbery back in 2006. The Civil Liberties Association is not disputing her criminal acts, rather the way she is confined.
While in solitary confinement, Bobby Lee has been confined to a concrete cell 7 by 10 feet in length and diameter. She has been deprived of meaningful human interaction for up to 23 hours a day for months at a time.
Canadian prison expert Michael Jackson has described solitary confinement as, quote, the most individually destructive, psychologically crippling, and socially alienating experience that can conceivably exist within the borders of this country.
Worm is currently serving 6 years in prison, and no statement of defense has been announced yet. Meanwhile, NDP leadership hopeful Adrian Dix is proposing a $100 million a year grant for post-secondary students. And as my co-anchor Peter Verge found out, for many, this is a much welcome offer.
When first-year Langara College student Laura Ryback gets home from school, she usually ends up sitting at her laptop doing more schoolwork or going to her part-time job. Even with student loans and working part-time, being a full-time student and paying all of her own bills can be challenging, to say the least. Like most students, finances are often on her mind, and not only is it stressful, but it can affect her schoolwork as well.
It's definitely on my mind every day, and it can get quite stressful around like the holidays and end of semester when student loans are running out.
With all the bills Laura pays, any assistance from the government would be helpful. NDP leadership candidate Adrian Dix announced if he's voted in, he'll create a $100 million a year grant program for post-secondary students.
As you're aware, our student grant program was significantly cut in 2002, the previous BC student grant program, and again the remainder of the program in 2008. The proposal today is to add $100 million to a student grant program to give access to students to post-secondary education.
More money for students means more time spent focusing on academics.
Definitely make student life less stressful, for sure, not having money to worry about. Be able to focus on school more often.
Until that time, students like Laura will have to continue working part-time and relying on heavy loans to get through their post-secondary education.
What time? Okay.
Peter Verge in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
It's the 100th anniversary of International Women's Day, and earlier this week, Burnaby women gathered together for a special breakfast. Alwena Shirley was at this event and found out that it wasn't just about pride and support, but also political concerns.
Earlier this week, women and their families gathered to celebrate the 100th International Women's Day. A variety of speakers addressed the large group over breakfast at the Firefighters Club in Burnaby.
Women are CEOs, we're starting our own companies, we're at the same time having families. We are presidents of countries, we're leaders of political parties, we are premiers of provinces, and it's something that we don't have to think too heavily about anymore in terms of us being women.
The occasion was to celebrate women's achievements, but the atmosphere soon turned very political.
Sometime soon, we might be faced with a federal election in which the pollsters tell us Stephen Harper has a good chance of winning a majority government. I will be blunt with you. Women cannot afford to let that happen.
On this 100th International Women's Day, let's all play a role in helping women succeed in politics. And I want to commit to you today, on behalf of myself and on behalf of my party, that we will keep up the fight. And with your help and your energy, women's issues and women's empowerment will once again be central to a government, to a BC government, when the NDP takes office after the next election.
women didn't have the right to vote and didn't have the right to safe and legal abortion, that really wasn't all that long ago.
I think Women's Day is important for women to get together, to educate one another, to share stories.
International Women's Day is important for women all around the world to celebrate the achievements that we have made.
Overall, International Women's Day turned out to be an occasion for women to rejoice and cheer one another along. Alwena Shirley in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
The City of Vancouver has launched an initiative aimed at providing more affordable housing, but as my co-anchor Peter Verge found out, it may not be so affordable for everyone.
This 610 square foot home might not look like anything special on the outside, but the inside is far from the norm. It has everything from a Macintosh interface to a touchscreen display that shows your water and energy consumption. It's called a laneway home, and it's focused on affordability. This couple will be the first to move in.
The critical piece that I want to just bring into the conversation today is around affordability. We have to find ways for the people who live in this city, the people who grow up and grow old in this city, to be able to live here in their hometown. And that means increasingly building affordable housing.
It's nice inside, but just how affordable is it? The average laneway home costs $240,000 to $320,000 to build, and you need property to build it on. Add that up and you're looking at over $500,000. And how do the neighbors feel about it?
Well, I'd like to see much larger housing for huge amounts of people, because we have a very, very extended population that's increasing constantly. And we're letting more and more people slide into homelessness.
And after taking a tour of the laneway home, I decided to go back to Paul's and take a tour of my own.
It's kind of awkward, and it's a bit wet and muddy because I climb in and out of there at night when it's snowing and slimy and slippery here too. It's really amazing. And this guy, he's making it tough on you.
These laneway homes are supposed to provide Vancouverites with an affordable roof over their head, but for people like Paul, the price is still too high, and for now, you'll have to make do with a tarp. Peter Verge in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Would you like to get some fresh air and support a good cause? Next Sunday is the 5K Walk Run, which aims to raise awareness about the sexual exploitation of youth. It begins at 11:30 at Swangard Stadium. If indoor activities are more your thing, here's your chance to check out 360 Degrees of Astronomical Wonder. This is your last week to see mind-blowing shows of the Vancouver Planetarium. For more information, check out spacecenter.ca. It's that time of year again when it's easy being green. St. Paddy's Day is this Thursday, and Celtic Fest returns with numerous events and activities around Vancouver. The marquee event is next Sunday with the 7th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. For more information, go to CelticFestVancouver.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Ellie Short.
Coming up on BCIT Magazine, have your dictionaries handy because we'll be testing your spelling.
And Alwena Shirley takes us through past, present, and future weather trends in the Lower Mainland. Stay with us.
They say if you want a wish to come true, never tell anyone. But there is one wish that can make the difference between life and death. And this wish can only come true if you tell someone. Please, let your family know you want to be an organ donor.